welcome to today's ceremony where the men and women of the United States Transportation Command pay special tribute to Mr. Kurt R. LaFrance on the occasion of his retirement as a civilian with the United States Air Force, amassing 44 years of total service to our country. I am Mark Osmack, and I will be your narrator. The presiding officer for today's ceremony is the Commander, United States Transportation Command, General Stephen R. Lyons. At this time, we would like to recognize our distinguished guests, both here and online. Please hold your applause until all guests are introduced. Mr. LaFrance's wife, Sandy, his mother, Dell, his sisters, Janice and her husband, Mike, and Melissa and her husband, Chuck. Mr. LaFrance's brothers, Kevin and his wife, Kim, and Keith and his wife, Alice. Mrs. LaFrance's sister, Becky Fowler, and her husband, Pete, as well as family friends, Jerry and Missy Jombrowski. We would also like to welcome General Lyons' wife, Maureen, the Chief of Staff, Major General Vince Barker, and all general officers, flag officers, senior executive service personnel, directors, deputy directors, senior enlisted leaders, co-workers, friends, and family joining us today. Thank you very much. Y'all can applause for all the guests. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the party and remain standing for the playing of ruffles and flourishes, singing of the national anthem, and the invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, all bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Ms. Kathy Hahn and Deacon Kevin. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. At this time, we will be provided a invocation by Deacon Kevin online. Thank you very much. And General Lyons, the floor is yours.
All right, thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. Hey, thanks for everybody for coming out. It actually is hard to believe that we're farewelling Kurt LaFrance. By the way, if you don't know who that is, it's Viva. I was kind of curious there when your brother was doing a prayer. Deacon Kevin, thanks for being part of this. I'll get to the rest of the family here momentarily. Kathy Hahn, always as usual, you do just a phenomenal job. Thank you for all that you do. I knew it was a particularly important day because the chaplain dressed up in his World War II uniform. So it was really important. But you know, Kurt LaFrance, also known as Viva, has been just an icon in this headquarters for now a decade. And so it was kind of hard to believe that he was actually going to leave before I was. It was a bit of a race. And I thought for all the congressional success that he's had, that maybe he would have gotten my replacement confirmed in time for me to leave first. But that's the only thing that he's not been successful with on the Hill. So, but I appreciate you allowing me.
I still leave.
You can still. He, as you know, has done just an incredible job here in the command. But before I talk about what he's done in TRANSCOM and really for the broader global mobility enterprise, let me talk to you a little bit about some folks that I know are important to him, and he would tell you that he did not make this journey by himself, and he would attribute a lot of his success to a lot of folks along the way. And none more important than his wife of 37, it's almost 38, 38? 37. It was a test. It was a test. So, Sandy, let me just say thank you for being on this journey. I know as satisfying as it is to see Kurt retiring, it also creates a little bit of anxious nervousness. And I know that he'll do something. He's got to do something because he's got a lot of talent and potential to serve. But you have been on this journey. I know you've met when he was a senior at the Air Force Academy, I guess back in 1981, and married 3 years later, and been with him every step of the way. And so just thank you for your great contributions as when he was an airman and now as a civil service, and couldn't have done it without you. And I think he would tell you that his most prideful accomplishment in all his days was making sure that you stuck with him. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. Now, I got a lot of folks up there on Zoom, so I'm going to do a attendance call here, see if I can get everybody to pop up on the screen. So I know that your mom, Dell, is up there, and your sister, Janice, as well. Is that?
Yes, they are.
Can we get a wave? Get a wave. They're there. I can see them.
Mom. Hi.
And many of you know that Viva's dad passed just about a month or so ago, and I know you were so looking forward to, and I was so looking forward to meeting him and coming out here, and I wish your whole family could be here. But it's clear that he was so instrumental in Kurt's service to nation, and he was a command master chief. And it was almost, you were almost born into this military service piece. And from him, he and your mom, you got a great value set, faith, family, and freedom. And nobody can argue that you stayed the course and done such an incredible job. So I know that he would be extraordinarily proud. Sister Janice and Mike are on. I know that Mike is a retired Air Force 04. There he is. Also a Catholic deacon. Brother Kevin, who you just heard from, and his wife Kim, retired Army 03. Also a deacon you just heard from. Thank you for plugging in. His brother Keith and Alice. Keith was a graduate of the United States Military Academy, spent some time in the great United States Army. Thank you very much. and now currently is employed by Johnson & Johnson, one of our vaccine makers. And his sister Melissa and Chuck are also up on net. Thank you for that. And sister-in-law Becky and Pete, who are either in Colorado or someplace really nice. So thank you all for plugging in and being here. Most of you, especially your family on the screen, already knows your journey from 1981 at the Air Force Academy. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on your military service in uniform as a great Air Force officer. But when he came out of the Air Force Academy in '81, you can appreciate where we were as a nation and where we were with regard to the Cold War. And at that time, his choice was to go into the bomber community because that was the premier community in strategic deterrence. And everything was focused, all the resources were focused, and he was at the front of the top of the priority in our great force and in our joint force with lots of missions that you all know about and can imagine. He later transitioned that great weapon system to a conventional role, which was very unprecedented, I can tell you, when that all occurred, and he was part of that journey. And he retired from the Air Force in 2005 and started his civil service career first up at Headquarters Air Force, where he had some great experience as a programmer, starting up the F-22 program, quite an accomplishment. And at some point along the way, when General McNabb, one of our TRANSCOM commanders, was here, he knew of Viva's great reputation, had worked together before, and yanked him and Sandy. Sandy wasn't exactly happy at the time, but they came, and since that time, they have done just incredible work here at TRANSCOM, leading our legislative affairs effort. I just want to take a moment to talk about the relationship with Congress and the military. People sometimes underappreciate the role that Congress plays in resourcing, in raising, and sometimes reorganizing the Joint Force, Goldwater Nichols, and confirming senior appointments, presidential appointments. So they play a pretty important role. And a relationship with Congress is very important at this level, at the service level and the combatant command level. And I have to say, having seen a lot of legislative affairs leaders in my career, I have seen no better professional than Kurt LaFrance, and no more successful, which is as important in my humble view. And I've watched this command relative to the other combatant commands and the other services gain the trust and the transparency, and got to watch the influence that brought to this command and to increase the level of prestige of the global mobility enterprise to project joint forces globally, as you know, a strategic comparative advantage. And in the last few years, specifically on very important projects to the department, it has been Viva that has led the effort on sea lift and sea lift modernization, on very important aerial refuel initiative to make sure that we could bring the KC-46 on over the next few years, on air lift initiatives, on mobility capabilities, requirements, studies, on things like defense personal property and household goods. What a non-emotional issue that was. And understanding and appreciation for what it means to emerge this great command and this great joint deployment enterprise in a world of great power competition, near-peer competitor, and for us to be able to project the force under all-domain persistent attack. And I would report to you today, having been up on the Hill as recently as last week, that there is a great appreciation at the staff and member level about what this command does, what it represents, how important it is, and when this command goes in with a position, It is rock solid, it is trusted, and they take it to the bank. And sometimes they take it to the bank when the department doesn't want them to take it to the bank. But sometimes that's the way it goes as you set the conditions to advocate to ensure that our great nation still retains the ability to project the force. And sometimes priorities inside service entities, and mine included, if you're really under pressure to reduce resources, you're going to cut logistics first. I would tell you, your efforts have made it so that logistics is not the first cut, and critically important, and just a great understanding up on the Hill. So Viva, I just want to say thank you from this whole great team, from the former 4 TRANSCOM commanders that you served, for your 22 posture hearings, 50-some hearings on the Hill across dozens of different topics. It has paid huge dividends that will serve us so well into the future. And you can be so proud that your efforts, your legacy will continue to carry the mantle for this great command long after you're gone. And there's many shining stars out there that have been part of your team, and it's a dream team of teams. He's got a team in DC, a team here, that all come up and do extremely well in their respective fields. So Viva, only to say thanks. Many thanks for all you've done. We're so incredibly proud of you. We wish you the best in all your future endeavors. I know Sandy's got some plans. And if there's anybody that can be proud of service to the nation, of leadership, of demonstrating your commitment to freedom and all that means in the oath to the Constitution of the United States that you took in 1981, it is one each Mr. Kurt LaFrance. So why don't you come on up, we'll recognize you. I know you wanted a small-scale ceremony, but Chaplain and I dressed up for it, so we're going to make something. Come on up.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as General Lyons presents the Joint Meritorious Civilian Service Award to Mr. Kurt R. LaFrance. Attention to orders. Citation to accompany the award of the Joint Meritorious Civilian Service Award to Mr. Kurt R. LaFrance. Mr. Kurt R. LaFrance distinguished himself by exceptionally meritorious service as Director of Legislative Affairs, United States Transportation Command, Scott Air Force Base, Illinois, from 31 August 2010 to 30 June 2021. During this period, Mr. LaFrance guided 5 commanders and numerous senior leaders through 22 posture hearings, over 50 ad hoc hearings, formal briefings, and responded to several hundred inquiries from across the defense committees in Congress. His key insights to congressional practices and his ability to work across functional areas enabled Congress to elevate logistics and mobility requirements to one of its highest priorities for the Department of Defense. He persuaded Congress to enact legislation authorizing the purchase of used foreign-built sea-lift vessels, despite concerted opposition within Congress and several industry sectors. Additionally, he solidified the command's reliance on the Civil Reserve Air Fleet by crafting legislative language to define readiness and interoperability requirements needed to support defense airlift requirements. He networked across congressional staff, culminating in support of legislative language to enable continuation of Defense Personal Property Program reform, and convinced Congress to avoid congressional action stopping the transition of the globally personally owned vehicle contract. Finally, Mr. LaFrance garnered congressional support to allow Air Force divestment of tanker aircraft while transitioning to the KC-46 despite intense congressional concerns. The distinctive accomplishments of Mr. LaFrance while serving his country reflect great credit upon himself, the United States Air Force, the United States Transportation Command, and the Department of Defense.
Before we wrap up and I turn it over to you, you know one of my favorite Norman Rockwell prints is this print. You've seen it at times, this tattered GI in World War II, right? This 1915 water-cooled machine gun. running out of ammo. And in all the depots back in World War II, this was hung as a reminder of why we serve, to make sure that the folks in the front line get what they need. Nobody, you are an icon of this kind of ethos of a servant leader, and so I just want to say personally thank you for all you do.
And ladies and gentlemen, you may now be seated. At this time, Mr. LaFrance will be presented with a certificate of retirement. The certificate reads, "This is to recognize Mr. Kurt R. LaFrance for 20 years of faithful and devoted federal civilian service on the occasion of retirement from employment with the United States Air Force, given this 30th day of June, 2021, by Stephen R. Lyons, General, United States Army, Commander, United States Transportation Command."
I hope to grow up just like you. Retire.
And Mrs. LaFrance, will you now join your husband? Every retiree receives a special retirement pin as a memento of his or her service. At this time, we'd like to ask Mrs. LaFrance to pin his lapel to symbolize his transition from active civil service to retired status. This pin stands as a testament of his service to our great nation. To all who see it, know that Mr. Kurt R. LaFrance has met all the challenges set before him and has served our country with pride, honor, and dignity. And every civil service member knows and understands the value of contributions of his or her family to the member's career, especially the efforts of their spouse. General Lyons will now present Mrs. Sandra LaFrance with a spouse certificate of appreciation, which reads, "Certificate of Appreciation from the United States Air Force. In grateful appreciation, the United States Air Force presents this certificate of recognition to Mrs. Sandra LaFrance for the commitment and numerous contributions that made positive impacts on the nation's defense. Thank you for the support which gave strength and purpose to your spouse's service. Given this 30th day of June, 2021, by Stephen R. Lyons, General, United States Army, Commander, United States Transportation Command."
Thank you, Sandy, so much.
And thank you to Mrs. LaFrance and General Lyons.
All right, that's our cue. We just got kicked off the stage. We'll escort you. Very fitting day, though. Up on the hill today, where they briefed the mobility capability requirement study. What a fitting day for you to retire.
It is.
Extraordinarily
Perfect
successful.
day.
Extraordinarily successful.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the great tradition of our Congress, there will be a non-recorded voice vote on the floor. The Sergeant at Arms has already secured the doors, so there's nowhere to go, and filibusters are not allowed. The question on the floor is whether to adopt the resolution of Kurt V. LaFrance Retirement. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion is heretofore adopted. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to introduce Mr. Kurt R. Viva LaFrance, United States Air Force, retired.
Boy, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your years of friendship and working with me in my office, and I'll go through a few of this, but this is a special day. It's a good day. And 44 years of combined service, and Sandy's been with me for 37 of those. Thank you. Wow, it's great to see my family out there, and also Pete and Becky, good to see you too from Orange Beach, I think. Looks like the sun is pretty bright in the background there. We'll join you soon one of these days. And I'll talk to each of you here in a second, but thanks to everybody for putting this together. And You know, the worst worry about this is forgetting to mention somebody that you wanted to mention, right? So that's the worst thing. So I just got a couple cards here just so I don't forget anybody. But thank you all for putting this ceremony together. And Kathy, fantastic rendition of the national anthem. Thank you for doing that. Been doing it for years. It really honored me with it today, so thanks. Protocol folks, I know Pete and Sergio are around somewhere. Thank you very much again. I really can't thank you enough for putting the event together. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. If you've never been involved with it, you know, this all doesn't happen by magic. People actually have to do a lot of work to make it happen. And, you know, we've got the Zoom feature now, so the family's able to join from long distances and around the country, and that makes it all the more special. So, and I'll talk to my family here in a second, but thanks again to Protocol and my legislative affairs team. Thank you so much. You guys have put in a lot of work too, not just for this, but for the office and everything you've done. Really, I can't thank you guys enough. You're my second family, so thanks for everything over the years, and I'll have a couple more words. But if smoke starts to get in my eyes, Melissa, just yell out, yellow trucking, okay? Yellow trucking. For those who don't know, yellow trucking, so when you're out on the highway, if you see those semis go by that say yellow on the side, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We have some issues there, but you know, I'm sure one day they'll be resolved. Maybe not in the near term, but they will. And others who are involved with this, the Commander's Action Group and the front office staff, I know you put in a lot of work too, helping to put the right words together. Thank you so much. Deacon Kevin, thank you for the invocation, brother. It's good to see you. Only ordained 3 weeks ago, if you can believe that. And already a seasoned orator and homilist, and just fantastic. So thanks again for doing the invocation, Kevin. And I know you're coming out in a couple weeks, so can't wait to see you. Bring your guns and we'll do some shooting. Yeah, so Sandy and I were talking last night, and she says, hey, boy, this is great. So we can go live like hippies now, you know? Just get on the road and go wherever the wind takes us. And there's kind of some romantic truth to that, actually. So might do a little bit of that, just go see where the wind takes us. I know we'll do some short trips here and there along the way, and it's great to have the time to do that now. Bittersweet, though, of course. It's always bittersweet leaving after so many years, and it is absolutely true. Not a rookie at this, so I've retired once from the Air Force. I'm retiring a second time now. As General Lyons said, retire, yeah, retire. So it's the people that you miss, and that was true for my first retirement. It's going to be true from this one. It's not so much the job, it's the people that you miss, and it's you folks right here and others that couldn't be here today that I'm going to miss dearly. But thank you for all the time you've spent with me and the help you've given me. General Lyons, thank you for your kind words today, and thank you for your leadership over the last several years. I was here when you came in as the deputy. We've worked together for many years, brought the command to where it is today in Congress, as you talked about, and I think we've been very successful, but that wasn't really because of me. I remember the first hearing we went to, and together, I think it was on Sea Lift at the time, and I thought, okay, I'll teach him everything he needs to know. But it was that hearing, the teacher became the student at that hearing, I can tell you that right now. And I've been following your lead since then, so thank you very much for your leadership, and it's been a great team effort, I think, to get us where we're at. And I agree with you, I think it's enduring. It will last for a long time. Those relationships are strong on the Hill, and they don't go away overnight. They last a long time. We've built up some trust, and I think it's there to stay. We've got a great team here, got a great team in DC, and I think we're going strong, and we'll continue to do so. You and Mrs. Lyons have just built an incredible team here. I say team because it's not just about service members, it's about service members and their families. You know, families serve as much as the member does, and it's important to keep that in mind. So the family cannot, the family is the bedrock of our nation, and it's the source of our manpower. It's the source. Families send their sons and daughters to serve in the military, and it's just so incredibly important. And I know you and Mrs. Lyons understand that, and you've really built a resilient team here. So thank you for all you've done for the command. I'm really going to miss that part too, but I'll be watching with fondness from the other side of retirement. Yeah, and you know, you're absolutely right that about the members on the Hill and how they look at TRANSCOM. And we've raised logistics. Whoever thought, you know, something that's not sexy like logistics is now one of the highest priorities in Congress, and they talk about it at every hearing almost. Every Armed Services Committee, they talk about the importance of it. And that's because of what we've done here in the command. That wasn't always that way. It's only been that way for a few years, and it took a while to get there, but we're there now. And it's just so incredibly important. But I am going to miss flying out to D.C. in the G5 and you know, getting to caravan through D.C. and they turn the lights on every now and then, and we get to just cruise right through. I'm gonna miss that rock star lifestyle, but that's okay. They're very fond memories for sure. Really enjoyed that. But thanks. Oh, by the way, I'll be remiss if I don't mention this, sir. I know it's also your anniversary today, right? Your and Mrs. Lyons' anniversary today.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yes. Glad I did. So thank you. And you put me on the spot, so I'll put you on the spot as well. How many years was that today?
32.
32. Very good. Very good. Congratulations. I'll try to keep my remarks short so that you get on with the anniversary. General Barker, to you, I won't say thanks, but I'll say congratulations. Congratulations on inheriting a great command. High-performing command, and you know, they say it's often harder to coach the high performers than it is the low performers, because you got to keep them at a high level, and you know that's why there aren't many Super Bowl repeat champions, right? So you've got a challenge, but I think you're up for it, and just congratulations on being here. Wish you well. I did have an opportunity to talk to Admiral Mewborn and Fleet Myrick, who couldn't be here today as well, and I talked to them about what we've done here and expectations for the future, and they're every bit as part of our success as anyone in the room. So my thanks go out to them too. And to my fantastic legislative affairs team, man, what a great journey. 10 years, Eric's been here from the start. So he was the first one I saw when I came. And he's been my right-hand man the whole time. Just so you know, everything I have said or done or written or gone to or briefed or whatever has gone through his hands first. So he's done all the research. He helps put the words together. He puts words on paper. He tells me what to say, how to say it. And I owe any success I have to Eric. So thank you for all that support over the years, and thank you for your friendship. And we've done great things, so keep it going.
You got to teach you how to hit the ball straight.
Yeah. All right.
We'll see you on the golf.
We'll do that. We will get on the golf course. Melissa, thanks for joining our team here. You've been almost 2 years now, but fantastic leader, and I'm 100% confident in your ability to take over the legislative affairs shop here. So best of luck to you. She's not just a great leader, by the way, she's also a humanitarian. So she does many other things that you may not be aware of. I mean, she's on the Diversity and Inclusion Council, Women's Forum, and she also helps disadvantaged youth here in the local area. So she's just a great person, and congratulations on where you may be going to. I think it's going to be far. Nunez, our trusted administrative specialist, has been in our office a couple years now. Thanks for coming over. You've been taking care of all of our admin work, which is so incredibly important as well, especially in legislative affairs, because we got a lot of stuff out there, a lot of stuff that we have to go back and find, and a lot of stuff we have to sort through, and travel and the whole 9 yards. And you've been on top of that. So thank you very much for that. You work for 2 offices. You work for my office. You also work for our State Department office, policy advisor, Paulette. But I've never asked you, which office do you like better? Okay, I won't put you on. You can tell me after. But thank you, Nunez, for all you've done. Mark, welcome to the team. You've been here. Well, you've been here a while, almost as long as Melissa, and maybe longer than Melissa actually. But I like to say you put the A&A team for us. So thanks for joining us. Former staffer on the Hill, used to work for Senator Duckworth and Representative Duckworth when she was on the other side. So he knows the ropes on the Hill, and he's just been a fantastic addition to our team, and just gives us some great insight that we wouldn't otherwise. Also a candidate for Congress 2 years ago, so he knows how that whole game is played with on the campaign side, which is not the side we deal with, but it's a side that he understands and certainly adds to our knowledge and ability to operate on the Hill. So thank you, Mark, for everything you've done. That's right. That's right. We also have a great team in the District of Columbia, as General Lyons said, an office out there. I say team, it's down to 1 right now, Air Force 06, Kevin Griswold, and if he's listening in, thanks to him, because of that team in DC, they're the ones who actually hit the ground running, knock on doors, shake hands, look in the eyes of staffers and members, and see what's really going on there. And it's such a powerful way to do business, and we've honed that. We've kind of honed that whole concept to where the other combatant commands are trying to do the same thing that we're doing, and it's just been very powerful, very effective on the Hill. So thank you, Riz, and thank you to your predecessors as well. I know some of them are probably listening in today. Doug Hall, Kevin Eastland. Kevin, I know you're probably listening in. I just saw you last week. It was good to see you. Hope I see you again soon. You led our DC office as well. Mark Robinson, Neil Richardson, Rodney Lewis, and Shirlene Ostrov have all led that DC office, and just couldn't have asked for anything better. In fact, I think we do the best job of legislative affairs in the department, and I wish the services would kind of look to what we do. I think they would make great inroads if they did, at least as far as communicating. You know, I look around the room here, and I think I have a personal story for everybody in this room, but I won't do all that. Just know if I don't mention you, I still love you. Okay. Let's see. Boy, so many people. Kevin Spradling, I see you out there. You were also one of the first people I met when I came into the command from our staff judge advocate's office. Just a fantastic job all along, getting ready to retire himself, and wish you the best. So thank you for all you've done, Kevin. I see Andras Martone out there, who leads our staff judge advocate's office. Thank you. Michelle Kittiquah as well, Colonel Kittiquah, also part of that office, and Andrew Cantner too. Don't know if he's here, but I'd like to thank him as well. I've been asked what our greatest success has been, and I tell people it's the relationships that we've built both within the building and in Congress, because they're both equally as important, I think. But one of the strongest ones is between legislative affairs and our legal team. We have to be tied together. We have to be working together, or it's just not going to be effective. So the legal team writes all the legislative language, and then the legislative team takes it to the Hill and advocates for it and tries to see it through so that it becomes law. And it's just been a very powerful way to do business, and I'm very proud of that and proud of you. I know Bruce Busler, Mr. Busler, can't be here today. He's briefing the brief that General Lyons mentioned earlier, and apparently it was successful, so good for that. But my gosh, he and I have become friends over the years. We're only about a year apart, but another strong relationship, legislative affairs and our analysis shop. He does all the analysis for the command. And my gosh, it's been so powerful. He's been able to put together the analysis, the justification for what we're trying to do on the Hill, and bringing that to the Hill, telling them why we're doing things, why we need to, hold back on retiring aircraft from the Air Force, why we need to buy sea lift vessels. These are not easy decisions for the department. They're difficult policy decisions, but they also involve a great deal of money, not just hundreds of millions of dollars, but billions of dollars. And we've been very effective on the Hill in making sure that we're headed in the right direction for both us and the whole department of the Air Force. So thank you to Bruce Bussler, and I have talked to him and wished him well. Rick Marsh, Mr. Marsh, thank you as well for being part of our team. I think I told you the other day, had General Lyons not brought you in, we would not be where we are with household goods on the Hill. I think the whole thing would have fallen apart a couple of years ago had it not been for you and the way that you're able to communicate on why we need to reform in the way that we're heading. So a great deal of thanks to you. And I know everybody in the department is thankful or will be thankful. We're talking over 1 million people, move 400,000 people a year, and it's because of you that they're successful. So thank you for all you've done. Ms. Dilley as well, Terry Dilley, thank you for all your efforts on the Hill as well. I'd like to tell people she talks their language, right, better than anybody. So as soon as she starts talking, their eyes light up and they understand completely, and they have a symbiotic thing going, and it's been really helpful to us. So and because of you, they don't look too deeply into our finances. So that's how we want it. Yeah, that's how we want it. You tell them there's nothing to see here, and they believe you. And it's like, okay, good, let's go. Mr. Brennan, Ken Brennan, also thank you, you and Tammy Tuvino for leading our acquisition shop. Once again, have taken you both to the Hill and been very successful every single time. So just couldn't thank you enough. And Tammy and I go back actually a few years ago. All the troubles we've seen with household goods and getting over that hill, we had to do the same thing with the privately owned vehicle contract back in 2013, which made the news. And for about a year, there was some gnashing of teeth, but we finally made it through, and our commanders were successful as a result of it. So thanks for all you did during that time. That was a rough time, but we got through it, and we're in just a super good place right now with it because of that. And because of that program, that was the only time I ever had a senator yell at me. Actually yell. He was yelling at me, and General Selva was right next to me, and he was just kind of, it was bad. But and he's no longer in the Senate, by the way. So that was quite a time. I see Bob Folan's here too, by the way. So Bob Folan is retiring today as well. So by close of business, he's also a retired employee. So thanks, Bob. We go way back as well, all the way from the time that I got here, and you go back many more years than that. So thanks for your service, and congratulations on your retirement. And I'll call for a tea time for next week. We will get your replacement out here, sir. Now that I'm a private citizen, I can lobby, okay? I can actually lobby, so I will lobby my senator to move up that confirmation hearing and get that done. So I know that's of great interest to you.
It is tomorrow.
And to Mrs. Lyons. Do my best. So to my great, fantastic family on Zoom out there. I see everybody. Hi. Mom, can you hear me? Yeah, Mom can hear me. Great, good to see you. 87 years young. Sorry if I say that, but you've made us all very proud. Just within the last few weeks, she's had a couple of heart procedures, if you can believe it, and she's recovering well and looking real good and on the mend. And in that same time, she actually traveled all the way out to San Antonio for Kevin's ordination and then back to Florida. And so, been with us the whole time, obviously. She and Dad were at my 1981, and now she's at my retirement 2021. So that's pretty neat bookends to my career. Thanks to you and Dad. Sadly, we lost Dad last month, but I know he's looking down on this and enjoying every minute of it. And in fact, probably asking the good Lord to change some more water into wine right now, I would think. Janice, good to see you. And I see Mike there as well. Mike is also a Catholic deacon and retired Air Force. And they've been married a long time as well, 1974. So thanks for joining in today. Really good to see you both. Yeah, thanks, Mike. So Mike's a deacon, Kevin's a deacon. Lots of military background in our family. Yes, we're a very military and very Catholic family. So that's why we like wine so much. Thanks for joining. And Kevin and Kim, good to see you both. Saw you just a few weeks ago, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks for joining and for doing the invocation, Kevin. Superb job. Looking forward to where you're headed with your deaconship. And I see Keith and Alice out there too. And I don't know, you're in Cincinnati, right? Are you in Cincinnati? Yeah, okay, Cincinnati. So Keith retired, not retired, but he separated after his commitment there from the military academy and went to work. He actually worked for Procter & Gamble for a while and then switched over to Johnson & Johnson. But Alice works for Procter & Gamble. So, they're like 2 Fortune 500 companies, okay, in a marriage. And they might even be Dow 30 companies, I think. But I always wanted to ask, did you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement with each other so that you wouldn't share any trades? Yes, Keith says yes. Okay, well, great. Thanks for being here. And I see Becky and Pete out there too from Orange Beach. Thank you. We go way back as well. In fact, they were married just a few weeks after we were, back in 1984. So we've been sticking together for a long time. Not just in-laws, but also best friends. So thanks for joining in today, and hope we can make it down there soon to Orange Beach. Looks like it's. Becky, you said you were going to wear your bathing suit, so thanks for not. Okay. And finally, to my most trusted friend and partner, Sam. Yeah, you. 37 years, and still going strong. Maybe another 37 out there. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? That's a long way away, but you never know. I wasn't sure I actually wasn't sure we'd make it past the first year because I was on SAC alert for many years right after we got married. And Sandy tells the story too, but so there we are. I'm on SAC alert for our first anniversary, 1995. I'm on alert. One of the few places you can go when you're on alert was the Officers Club. So, because they have what's called a klaxon there, if you've heard of a klaxon. It's a loud bell with a light. When that thing goes off, if you're on alert, you got to run. So anyways, we're there for our first anniversary meal. And sure enough, had not finished yet. Towards the end of the meal, there goes the klaxon. And when the klaxon goes off, you don't have time to pay the bill. You don't have time to use the restroom, you don't have time to clean up, you don't have time to do anything, you just got to go. Because there may be Russian missiles coming in, right? That's why. So fortunately, there were no Russian missiles coming in that time. It was just an exercise, but I took the checkbook out of my flight suit and said, here you go, see you later, and left. And then about 3 hours later, we saw each other over at the visitation center. And what's that? Oh, I threw it. Okay, she says I threw it at her. And recovered from that and decided to stick around with me. And many more years of alert, 4 winters, why not? I think if there were a 5th, it'd probably still be looking for my body. And, but managed to get out of there. And then 8 years of other assignments and 8 years DC. And got called out here. And so far, so good. I think we didn't know what to expect, but once we got here, things were pretty good. I'll tell just a quick story about that here in a second. But Sandy, thank you very much for all those years and for everything you've done for me. Just a small token. We've kind of talked about this already, foregoing the traditional flowers, but there's an IOU in here to go to any resort in the country that you want to go to. So the choice will be yours. Is the checkbook in there? Here. Yeah. So. The story I wanted to tell was, not many people know this, I was actually a non-volunteer to come to TRANSCOM, if you can believe that. It was a non-volunteer. So back at ICAF, as I was graduating, they said, hey, go to this VTC, you got to have an interview with the chief of staff at TRANSCOM, he's going to bring you on, you got to go talk to him. Okay, so I go talk to him. Major General Johnson. So you want to come out to TRANSCOM, do you? I said, no, sir. Actually, I'd like to stay at the Pentagon. He said, what? He said, it's great out here. We got the Cardinals, you got the Blues, you got the Rams, you got the Arch, you got these great museums. It's a great place to live. It's just a nice lifestyle. It's a great command, et cetera, et cetera. You sure you don't want to come? No, sir. I really want to stay at the Pentagon. He said, well, sorry, but you're coming anyways. And then, yeah, sure enough, on graduation day on ICAF, my assignments officer called me every 10 minutes. Remember that? The phone was ringing every time. I didn't want to pick up because I knew the answer. Every 10 minutes. Was this guy obsessed or what? Yeah, he was. He was kind of obsessed. Finally picked up the phone. Hey, congratulations, you're going to TRANSCOM. Once he said that, I was all in. I knew there was no going back, and I was all in from that point go forward, and everything worked out just wonderfully. So proud to have been here, and glad I came here. Glad it worked out the way it did. I'm able to work on the Hill. It's been just a special experience to be able to do that. If you haven't been to Capitol Hill, it's really a special place, to be honest with you. And I encourage you to take a trip up there someday if you never have. I've enjoyed every minute, every trip I've ever taken to the Hill. It's been fantastic. Not always pleasant, but I really enjoy being on the Hill, working the government's business and TRANSCOM's business. But my final thoughts really are with you, and they're with you because you are now the defenders of freedom. I'll be a private citizen, but I really want to thank you all for what you're going to do in the years ahead, and there are going to be many challenges we haven't seen before. They're coming, and they're coming quick. Society is changing. The character of war is changing. Lots of things are changing faster than some of us can keep up with. And just wish you all the best of luck. I'm glad that I can now kind of speak freely since I'm no longer a government employee, because I'm going to do that, and I'm going to always write or speak with the knowledge that you have my 100% support and my adulation and admiration for what you do. So thank you very much to all of you, and I wish you the best, and I hope I see you all again. Thank you.
Thank you again, and congratulations, Mr. LaFrance. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the playing of the Air Force song. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the hearing on the floor and today's ceremony. Please form a line to your left and come forward and offer your congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. LaFrance. And thank you again for attending. Have a very pleasant